Everybody's been there. You walk into a mechanic shop thinking that you're just getting a simple repair, and suddenly you're hit with a laundry list of expensive fees. Sounds familiar, right? Well, it's no accident. Every year, billions are spent on mechanic scams that you can easily avoid if you know where to look. Today, we're breaking down the top 10 mechanic scams that everybody falls for, so you'll never get ripped off again. Let's get into it, starting with number 1, the unnecessary fluid flush. Mechanics love pushing this. Transmission fluids, coolant flush, doesn't matter, they'll show you some dirty fluid, throw around terms like sludge and contamination, and try to scare you into spending $100 to $300 on a flush you don't need. Here's the thing, most fluids last between 50,000 to 100,000 miles, so you'll probably be ready to upgrade your car by the time your coolant's on its way out. 100,000 miles are way longer than the 30,000 miles they scam you into believing. As for tranny fluid, it'll last you between 60,000 to 100,000 miles between changes. Coolant is about the same, but ain't no mechanic on the planet ever gonna tell you that. What they'll do instead is use fear tactics to make it sound urgent. The truth is, fluids don't just go bad overnight. Not to mention overflushing a transmission can actually cause more problems than it solves. I'm talking dislodging harmless debris from the bottom of the system that could cause blockages and damage. To avoid this, just ask for proof. A good mechanic will show you a test strip or lab report confirming the fluid needs changing. And if they can't, walk away. Don't get scammed into a flush that might end up costing you way more than it's worth. Number 2, premium synthetic oil upsell. Y'all been there. You're going for an oil change and suddenly they're telling you that you need synthetic oil. They'll say that it offers better engine protection and reduces friction. Here's the thing, most cars don't need synthetic oil, so unless your manufacturer specifically says so, you're better off with conventional oil. Now, mechanics claim that synthetic oil helps your engine last longer, but most cars don't drive in extreme conditions, so they never really need it. 75% of cars on the road today don't require synthetic oil, and they're perfectly fine with the conventional stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, synthetic oil is great, but unless you're towing, racing, or living in extreme heat, conventional oil is just as good and costs half as much. But if you want to get synthetic oil into your Honda, all you're really going to do is pay twice as much for oil you don't even need. Now, that's a big price difference for something that won't make your car run any better. So always make sure you check your owner's manual or the oil cap. If it doesn't specifically say synthetic oil, stick with conventional. You'll save some serious cash and your car won't care. My favorite at number 3, the mystery check engine light scam. Have you ever pulled into a shop with a mechanic claiming your car's poor performance or that check engine light could be your catalytic converter and it's going to cost you $1,500 to fix? Yeah, half the time that's a lie. Even if you do have a check engine light, it doesn't always mean you've got some major problem in your car. In fact, only about 1% of check engine lights are due to something expensive like a bad converter. Most of the time, it's something simple like a loose gas cap, a bad sensor, or even a dirty air filter. So check those first before you get scammed into paying $1,000 for a non-existent problem. Shady mechanics know most drivers don't have the tools or knowledge to check the codes themselves, so they throw out terms like oxygen sensor failure or catalytic converter efficiency issue to scare you into paying for repairs. To protect yourself, invest in an OBD2 scanner for about $20. It plugs into your car and gives you the exact trouble codes so you can Google it before even walking into the shop. With that info in mind, you'll know if it's a $10 fix or a $1,500 nightmare. And don't even get me started on number 4 with phantom repairs. And this one's super simple. You take your car in for a timing belt replacement, a fuel pump, or some other major repair, you pay hundreds, even thousands, and a couple days later, you find out that the original part is still in your car untouched. Now, the way that happens is simple. Phantom repairs. The mechanic charges you for parts and services that never got done, and they know most people don't ask questions or even check the work. Now, this scam is way more common than you think. The Federal Trade Commission reports that billions of dollars are lost each year to auto repair fraud, and phantom repairs are a big part of that. Mechanics count on the fact that most customers don't ask for receipts, before and after photos, or to see the old parts. Always ask to see the old parts they removed. A good shop will have no problem showing you what they replaced. Ask for before and after photos of the work too. If they refuse, it's a huge red flag. Walk away and find a reputable shop. Number 5. Brake pad scare tactics. Mechanics love scaring people about their brake pads. They'll show you worn out pads of 3 millimeters of thickness and telling you that anything under 5 is dangerous. But here's the thing, most brake pads don't need replacing until they're down to 3 millimeters. Pads at 5 still have plenty of life left, and you can drive safely for thousands of miles without any issues. According to most manufacturers, brake pads are intentionally designed with a metal indicator that emits a high-pitched warning when they approach their minimum thickness. So if you're getting that squealing noise, your pad's still got a little bit of life left in them. Now the scam here is the mechanics know most drivers got no clue what 3 millimeters versus 5 millimeters even looks like. So they exaggerate the urgency to get you to pay for a replacement way too soon. The change of pads early is a waste of money, and worse, it doesn't even improve safety. In fact, doing unnecessary work can cost you in the long run. Always ask to see the measurements yourself to protect yourself. A trustworthy mechanic will show you exactly how thick your pads are using a caliper or a gauge. If they say, "Trust me, they're low," they probably aren't. Number 6. Inflated repair costs. You ever looked at your bill and thought, wait, I was only in the waiting room for 45 minutes. Why am I being charged for 3 hours of labor? It's called inflated labor costs, and it's more common than you might think. Auto shops use book time estimates, standardized time for each repair. For example, the book time for replacing an alternator might be 2 hours, but if the mechanic does it in 45 minutes, you're still paying for the full 2 hours. Most shops would stack labor because if they replace 2 parts that require the same disassembly, they'll charge you twice for the same work. So not only are you paying for unnecessary labor, but it's also overinflated. So definitely do some research before you go to the mechanic. Websites like RepairPal or Your Mechanic provide labor time estimates for repairs on your make and model. If a shop's quote is way higher, ask why. Request an itemized breakdown and challenge anything that looks inflated. Number 7. The fake factory-only parts requirement. Being told you've got to use factory parts or your warranty is voided is one of the biggest scams out there. Most aftermarket parts work just as well as OEM parts, and many are even made by the same manufacturers. In fact, 89% of aftermarket parts perform just as well as factory parts. Now, the reason why some shops push factory parts is because they're way more expensive. Take a Corolla's oxygen sensor. An OEM part costs about $250, but an aftermarket equivalent, $75, and it works just as well. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act also states that manufacturers can't void your warranty just because you use aftermarket parts as long as they meet OEM standards. So the next time a mechanic tells you that you have to use factory parts, ask them to show you where that's written in your warranty. Chances are, they can't do it. Number 8. Your warranty is voided lie. Now here's a really common scam at dealerships. If you don't service your car here, your warranty will be voided. That's a lie. Again, thanks to the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, dealerships can't force you to service your car at their shop or use only OEM parts to keep your warranty intact. The only reason they say it is because most people don't know how many horses their car has, let alone their legit rights, and they use fear tactics to lock you into their expensive services. They'll tell you things like only factory-trained technicians should touch your car, or aftermarket parts could cause damage. In reality, a lot of independent shops use the same quality parts as dealerships, often for way less. If you don't know your laws by heart, just keep service records from trusted shops. If a dealership ever tries to deny a warranty claim, all you gotta do is have proof of maintenance from a reputable shop. And if they still claim your warranty is void, ask for it in writing. They won't give it to you because it's illegal. Number 9. Fake suspension or shock replacement. Mechanics will tell you your shocks or struts are shot, but it would take a lot more than just daily driving for your shocks to fail. See, they wear out based on driving conditions, not age. Now, if you're driving over potholes every single day or hauling heavy loads, sure, your suspension might need replacing sooner. But if your ride still feels smooth, don't fall for it. The scam's really easy to pull off because most drivers don't know how to check their suspension, but it's actually super simple. Do the bounce test. Press down firmly on each corner of your car, then let go. If it bounces more than twice, then your shocks might be worn out, but if it stops quickly, you're good to go. So always make sure you perform this test before agreeing to any repairs that you might not need. Number 10. The free inspection trap. Ah, the good old classic free inspection. It sounds good on paper, but it's not really free. Shops know you didn't plan on a big repair bill, so they'll offer free brake checks, tire rotations, or oil changes. Then after they've looked over your car, they hit you with a list of urgent repairs for things that would end the world if it's not taken care of. Technicians would say stuff like, your suspension is shot, your transmission's leaking, and your engine could fail at any moment. The truth is that a lot of these problems are exaggerated or made up. According to the American Automobile Association, 22% of free inspections result in unnecessary repairs. It's all just pressure tactics to get you to sign off on expensive repairs on the spot. Never approve repairs immediately. Say thanks, think about it, and get a second opinion. No trustworthy mechanic will rush you into costly repairs. Take your time and protect your wallet. So the next time you head to the shop, don't let these scams catch you off guard. You've got the knowledge now, and that's all it takes to avoid getting overcharged. So protect your wallet and just spend that scam money on cool new mods instead. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.